at River Valley Marine out on iconic Lake Minnetonka. And speaking of iconic, got a couple Hall of Famers here with me, John Randle and Cris Carter on the Bennington Pontoon to talk all things Vikings 1998. This is Captain's Chair, driven by Polaris. Similar to the 2023 season coming up, 98, we started at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Going into that season, coming out of training camp, did you think about that season and think it was going to be what it was?
I tell you, one thing I can definitely remember about that season, everybody just gelled together. The camaraderie was just so smooth. That was one thing that I really noticed was the camaraderie and how everyone just really gelled together.
One of the big stories was Randy Moss coming in that year, and you had a couple quotes saying he could be the Michael Jordan of the NFL.
The Minnesota Vikings have selected wide receiver from Marshall University, Randy Moss.
What did you think of Randy as a rookie?
Well, the thing about it is I had a head start. From the time we drafted Randy on draft day, Dennis Green called me, and then Randy called me. We set up what I would call a partnership, an understanding of how things were going to go if he was going to be on the Vikings. He made the commitment. He moved to Florida immediately. So by the time we get to training camp, I had already been with Randy 3 or 4 months. So when the season started, we knew that we could be a special offense. And if you look at the 6-8 years previous to that, we had been a dominant offense. Mm-hmm. So I knew we had all the ingredients with a healthy Robert Smith that we could have a special season.
Now, in that opening game in 98 against Tampa, it's funny because you two guys kind of intertwine a little bit on this in this respect. Number one, Cris, you caught the first touchdown in the 98 season. It was a short pass from Brad Johnson. It was your 90th career touchdown pass. So on the day that Randy caught his first and ultimately second touchdown in his career, you caught your 90th.
In the backfield, he's in motion.
Everybody's going. Johnson throws. Touchdown Vikings. Cris Carter with his 90th career touchdown. He is fourth in NFL history.
90 touchdowns.
Wow.
You ever sit back and just kind of go through them?
I really don't. Ever since I played football 8 years old, I played quarterback all the way up until high school. The coach asked me what play to call, and I was like 18 bootleg. And he was like, "You sure?" I was like, "Yeah." So the first play I played football, I scored a touchdown. Scored a lot of touchdowns in college. First play in the NFL, first catch was a touchdown. There are people in basketball that can score the ball. To me, I took a lot of pride in scoring touchdowns to be able to help my team. And this, ever since the beginning of when I started playing, I always had the knack to be able to score.
So you get the first one, you get number 90, and then we're up 7-0, and then Mr. Randle here recovers a Mike Allstott fumble.
Dude, I was just trying to make plays with Cris and Randy and Jake, and we knew we had a hot, potent offense.
And those turnovers are huge.
Yes.
Extra possessions at that time.
Yeah.
When you have that kind of offense.
Oh, man, you just want to get the ball back to him, get back on the sideline, and just keep watching the show.
And that's exactly what happened, because after that turnover, that was Randy's first touchdown. Ultimately, he had 4 receptions, 95 yards, and 2 TDs. Cris, you had 5 receptions, 31 yards, and 2 TDs. Is there anything else from that game that stands out?
Randy had a very explosive preseason, and, being a young player, even though we knew he'd be a frontline player, he played a little bit more in the preseason so we could see. Of course, it's Central Time in Minnesota. You got to be at the stadium at 10 o'clock.
Yep.
And I'm like, Randy, listen, all right, we have pregame meal, and you have to be at the stadium. Don't be later than me, because once I come in, they're going to close the door, they're going to lock the door, and then everybody else after that's going to be late. Like, it's going to be a big scene. I got you, homeboy, I got you. Of course, Randy doesn't come to pregame meal, so he comes in the locker room, drinks a Coke, and eats a box of hot tamales for the pregame.
Yeah. He thought he was Randall McDaniel.
First NFL game. So that's what I really remember. I don't remember I scored 2 touchdowns. I do remember the defense really coming up big in that first game against Tampa, because they were probably our number 1 rival at that time as far as their talent that they had on that team.
Yep.
But him being late to the game, sure enough, straight cash homie, the first game late.